Yo ho ho, Dow Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of Fan v Fan, very popular series on the channel. This time it is not Patriots fans we are going up against, but it just so happens to be Seattle Seahawks fans that we are going up against. This is a very anticipated game. I know a lot of us are very excited to dive into this conversation and ultimately see what the outcome of this game will be. But before we get into the meat and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen, I need to give a roundtable introduction to the three gentlemen that were kind enough to join us for today's episode. Starting off with my good friend NorbCam. He is a pioneer when it comes to music videos, the Seahawks. I mean, this is the man. Let's be real. Norb, what's going on?
Hey, man, I'm excited. I mean, it's this is one of the best years in Seahawks history, and we can't freaking be in the building to watch it. So that's, ironic. But, hey, man, I got to take what you can get and enjoy every step of the way. But it's pretty cool. Who thought that the Bills and Seahawks would be having a top-of-the-division rivalry at this point of the year? It's great. I love it.
And so who would know? Who would know, man? I'm definitely excited to get down to it. And then right at the bottom right is another Seahawks YouTuber, my dude Squabo. Squabo, what's going on, dude?
Hey, man, it's my pleasure to be here. You guys both seem very intelligent. Dan, man, just meeting you at the beginning of this call, you're already hilarious. I can't wait to get into some games.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Like, once I get done with like this beer and the next one, trust me. And so you have not seen anything yet, okay? And then finally, recently nominated for the third sex symbol of the 716 in Buffalo, New York, Mario from #Sports. Mario, what's going on today, my friend?
I'm doing good. I wish I was doing as good as your stock and plenty of fish, but I'm doing good. The Bills and Seahawks are going to have, like I said, who thought, going into this game, at the start of the season, that these two teams only have 3 losses between them. So I'm really excited to chop up this game and talk with Norb and Squabble about the Seahawks versus the Bills.
Yeah, and so it's super funny because the reason I just did that to Mario is yes. When I go on his channel, he always gives me the most outrageous introductions. Right to a point where I'm thankful that my headphones are in, so anybody that's in my apartment can't hear what he says. So I feel like that was my opportunity to sort of create some type of revenge there. I feel like I could have done better, but you know what? Here we are. So
when I call you the president of Bumble, you have the full right to make fun of me, man. That's fine. That's the way it goes sometimes.
My man. All right. So, gentlemen, honestly, right now, this is a highly anticipated game. Really, when I look at these two teams, there's a couple of things that I see. Very similar built team, right? An offense, which can definitely put points on the board, and a defense that seems to be struggling. So what I would like to do now is sort of go around the table. I kind of want to start off with Norb. Going into Sunday, going into Buffalo, what would you say are the keys for victory for the Seattle Seahawks?
It's kind of funny because we just talked about these keys for victory a couple of days ago on my roundtable discussion, of which Noah is a part of. Some of these have been recurring pretty much every week because sometimes, it's like the same, story over and over again when it comes to your team. But the slight differences. But on this game, there's definitely some things that are number one on my list. I'd say we got to win the turnover battle. In every single game that we've won, and obviously we've won quite a few, just like you guys have, we've won the turnover battle. And in the one game that we lost, it was the one time we didn't win it. So that is going to be paramount. I don't care what we're doing on offense. It doesn't matter what we're doing on defense. But if we don't get the turnover battle, that's going to define the game, as the Cardinals proved to us when Russell threw 3 interceptions. So that's number one for me. Number two is, I think our offense, Russell's got to cook, and he's got to cook early, and he's just got to keep on dishing it out. He's just got to keep on feeding it, man, and not slow down, because we know what your guys' offense is capable of doing, and I feel like and everybody knows what Russell is capable of doing as well. And I feel like Seattle has just got to get up, to a lead, get to a point where they force you guys to be a little more predictable. And that way the defense, which has been struggling through most of the season, has a little bit more of a ability to sort of pin their ears back and get after you guys if they know that you guys are sort of having to play from behind schedule. So that's number two. And number three, what was my third key? Noah, I had a third one in here, and it was pretty good if I recall. Maybe I'll just make this up as I go. Yeah, pass rush. I think that was it. It was pass rush. Oh, yeah. It was. What am I talking about? It was blitz, sucker. Like last time. We just went to town, man, with the blitz. And who are we getting back? Jamal Adams, baby. He's been sitting on the bench for like the last month. And we've still been managing to keep this streak going. But now that he's back, he's itching like crazy to get back on the field. I know that he's dying to get back there. Not just to attack the quarterback. He wants to get behind the line of scrimmage, hit that runner before he even gets hits the line of scrimmage. He's done that. He's shown he can do that in the first couple of guys. You guys know that. You guys played Jamal Adams these last couple of years in the same division, so you know what he's all about. But I'm really excited about what Carlos Dunlap might be able to do for us. Coming from the Bengals in that trade, we've been aching for a guy like him all year, all off season, since last year, and now we finally got a legit Pro Bowler type at defensive end. I can't wait to see just with these two guys what they can do. And hopefully Bobby Wagner, who had a hell of a game, was Defensive Player of the Week last week. Let him keep doing what he's doing. So those are my keys. Turnovers, cooking early, and blitz, get after it.
And so it sounds like Dunlap's going to be in then? And so he's going to be playing on Sunday?
Oh, he's playing. He's playing.
Damn it. Well, hey, you know what? I mean, we'll go from there. Squabbo, what you got, man? What are the keys?
Hey, so every single week with Seattle, there's 3 things that instantly, like, you automatically know Seattle's got to do. We got to win the turnover battle. We got to get a pass rush, and we got to control our penalties. But those are 3 things that, like, against any opponent, I could say that. So what I did is I came up with some specific goals for the Buffalo Bills and looking at your team. Look, first of all, let's be very, very clear. I like the Buffalo Bills. I don't love you guys, but I like you a lot. You hate the Patriots. I hate the Patriots. I want to see you guys win the division every single year at this point. Like, I'm happy for you guys. This has been long waited, and it's well-deserved for Buffalo Bills fans. So congratulations to you guys. You pretty much already wrapped up the division, except Miami, but I'll give it to you guys. So credit to you guys. But one thing about the Buffalo Bills that I've noticed with your team, in my opinion, at times you can be front runners. And what I mean by that is when you have the lead, all is well. You have offensive versatility and you're tearing defenses apart. You have a good quarterback in Josh Allen, a good rush attack with 2 really good running backs, and you brought in Stephon Diggs. But when you trail in ball games, sometimes it can get ugly. It can get ugly quickly, i.e. the Tennessee Titans earlier this year. So my first key for Seattle, get the lead early. I want to make Buffalo Bills play from behind in this ball game. What else that creates for Seattle and leads to my second key, maintain offensive versatility. You guys are middle of the pack against the pass, but you're 28th against the rush defensively. And so what that means for Seattle, this is the let Russ cook year. This is the air it out to Russell Wilson year. While, yes, that's always going to be a part of our game plan, we got to run the football as well. We struggled to at times last week. It's important to have offensive versatility against you guys. And we do that by getting the lead early and maintaining it throughout the game. My third key, I believe Josh Allen last game, correct me if I'm wrong, no passing touchdowns, but a rushing touchdown against New England. And on the season, I believe he has 5 rushing touchdowns. Is that correct?
In Mario, is that right?
Yeah, I got to be the stat monster tonight? Okay.
Yeah, you do.
I know
that's exactly why I brought you on.
All right.
That's exactly why I brought you on.
Will do. I think that sounds about right, though.
So it's either 4 or 5. So I think it's 5 rushing touchdowns on the year. So my third key is contain Josh Allen, because yes, he has an arm that can beat you at times, but I got some questions on if he can win a shootout with that arm. But if he's able to rush the football the way that he is so physically dominant. That's what I'm afraid of from a Seahawks defensive perspective. I'm not as afraid of his arm. As long as we contain Josh Allen, make him beat us from the pocket, I think Seattle has a good shot because we got the MVP trying to win that in the shootout. So once again, my 3 keys: get the lead early, maintain offensive versatility, and contain Josh Allen.
It's 4 touchdowns, by the way. Just in case you're wondering.
4 rushing touchdowns, damn. And so Norb is giving the Bills stats for us today. It's okay,
somebody's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
I didn't realize my role. I'm sorry, sir.
I didn't either. So we're all just winging it here.
It's all right, Mario. So, I mean, I know that you and I are in the same camp of we really don't know what to think about this game. So I think that this is a great transition to hear your thoughts on what the keys to defeating the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday in Buffalo are.
Well, the one thing is about the high-powered offense of the Buffalo Bills. They did come out of the gate really hot. They won 4 in a row, and they were scoring 30 points a game. However, over the last 4 games, they've only scored over 20 once, and they're 2-2. They got a 2-2 split in those games. So the key for the Buffalo Bills is to get out early. I mean, some of the things that Norb and Squabble you've talked about. They said, listen, you can't let this offense be front runners and get ahead and get out in front of you. And it's going to be really tough. But Dan, we know what the crutch of sometimes what the Buffalo Bills do. I mean, we saw like almost like Jekyll and Hyde. They played the 31st ranked defense in Tennessee. They didn't run the ball, and then they played New England's poorest rush defense, and they actually did run the ball. So with a defense that's allowing 360 yards passing a game, I'm not too. I got to tell you right now, I'm not too worried about Jamal Adams in this game. I mean, you talk about the last 4 games he's played against Buffalo. True as with the New York Jets. I think they still have a football team. But the point being is he only had 14 tackles, 0 picks, and 3 pass defense. So Jamal Adams is more that guy that's going to hover around the box and try to stop the run to force Allen to pass. That's 1. 2, the Buffalo Bills have to throw out the game plan that they had against another high-powered offense in the Kansas City Chiefs. They tried to allow the Chiefs to beat them with the run, and to the tune of 7 yards a carry. Now I know the Seattle Seahawks running back crew is banged up, and they're gonna beat. I think they're signing a couple guys from who was working at UPS last week. So I don't know who they have as backfield guys to come onto the team, but the Buffalo Bills have to throw out that game plan. But my last thing is I want them to. They have to get out early, throw out the game plan. And for God forbid, how the hell are you going to stop DK Metcalf in this game? Dude, that's what I'm worried about. I love the matchup. Just on paper, Metcalf versus Trey White, it's a heavyweight bout. But he's been kind of banged up all year. His back's been a little funky. DK Metcalf is not from this planet. I'm not really sure where he's from. But if the Bills do not have an answer for number 14, it's going to be a long day. That's all I know.
I should clarify that DK Metcalf is from this world. However, he has a high alloy metal titanium endoskeleton underneath the skin.
He's Wolverine. Okay.
So just to clarify, he is from manufactured here in the United States.
Oh my God. And so honestly, like when I look at this game, and there's a couple of different things that I look at for the keys for the Bills to absolutely go to 7-2, but like it needs to be a perfect football game. Starting off defensively, there's not a DB on our roster that can win in a foot race right against DK Metcalf or with TJ Lockett, right? It's not going to happen. So I expect the Buffalo Bills to play a lot of zone. And Mario, feel free to go on ahead and feel free to chime in, say that you disagree with me at this point. However, so many people were very upset with our game plan against the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Our entire plan was to take away the big play, was to take away that big bomb downfield and essentially invite the Chiefs to run all over us, right? And we were maybe about a millisecond away from Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's knee from hitting the turf for the Bills being in a great position of winning that game, really, when it comes down to it. When I look at the Seahawks at this point, I feel like we need to have this exact same game plan going into it. We need to take away the big play. We need to play a lot of zone. We need to have that gap integrity and essentially allow them to run the ball on us, right? Say, for example, that they had Chris Carson or Carlos Hyde out there, then what I would say is we probably need to go back to the drawing board and figure something out where we can sort of like slow the bleeding. But that's exactly what I am expecting from the Buffalo Bills this Sunday moving forward and on a defensive standpoint. Now, say that Carson or say that Carlos Hyde were out in the field, then no, this would be an entire different conversation. But the number one thing that we need to stop are those big plays, especially when we're playing a quarterback like Russell Wilson, like going into it. As far as offensively, don't get me wrong. I mean, like I definitely respect Jamal Adams, but like you said, his career against the Buffalo Bills has not been spectacular, right? I mean, I wouldn't say for example, that you were to just take the games against the Buffalo Bills, he probably wouldn't be a Pro Bowl safety. He wouldn't be in the conversation. He just doesn't play well against the Buffalo Bills since we were known within that division by itself. I really like our receivers against their DBs. I really, really do. I am expecting to see a lot of Stephon Diggs. I am seeing a lot of John Brown and Cole Beasley really being able to take advantage of that secondary at the end of the day. I'm not seeing a big run game. I mean, I definitely respect Wagner. I don't see us running the ball, but I do see us going back to weeks 1 through 4, that air raid attack from Josh Allen moving forward. And we all know, and say that you watch ESPN or Fox Sports, they're going to say, oh, well, the Buffalo Bills pass game has gone on ahead and taken a step back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you the common denominator here, right? It was terrible weather conditions. Terrible weather conditions. Last week, 40-mile-an-hour gusts. The week before, it was pouring down rain. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, Buffalo is going to be damn 70 degrees in November. When the hell has that ever damn happened? It is pristine air raid weather right there. And I am entirely expecting the Buffalo Bills to go on ahead and take advantage of that fine weather and the weaknesses right within sort of that secondary right within there. So, I mean, as far as keys are concerned, I just need our Buffalo Bills offense to revisit through weeks 1 through 4 and really target our receivers and punish their secondary.
Oh.
All right, so Dan, let me get this straight. You said a lot of stuff out there. You said a lot of stuff in there. Some of it's okay. Some of it's I got to address here. So first of all, you're blaming the lack of production from the quarterback position on the weather. On the weather. For sure. All right. I'm just making sure that that's the reason. So tomorrow when it's 70 or sunny and 70, and if he doesn't have a good game, you can no longer blame the weather, right? We're going to say that, right? Sure. So if he doesn't have a good game, that's just simply on him or on the Seattle defense. Okay. Just making sure. I just want to make sure I'm writing this down. And then to say that Jamal Adams was not very productive against you, remember he was on a team known as the Jets. So that would be like saying this is like taking the tire of a Mercedes-Benz or a Tesla and putting it on a Pinto and saying he wasn't very good in the race because when he was with the Pinto, he didn't do anything to him. This is a totally different team, dude. You can't put it in context, right?
Oh, no.
Mario, save me.
No. There's a couple things I agree with Norb on, unfortunately. But I'm saying is, you got to understand that the defensive coordinator he had, Greg Williams, is known in this league as putting guys in various positions to win when he does have talent. Now, that first half of that game last year when the Buffalo Bills played the Jets, they shut out the Bills. They were completely unable to do anything because they had C.J. Mosley and Adams, and that's Williams. I mean, you want to talk about the Pinto. Well, it's not really the Pinto because Greg Williams is a guy that can put Adams where he needs to go. And that's the thing that I'm worried about in Seattle. I was just giving the stat breakdown as kind of like a prelude to it, but what I was saying is I know Seattle can get him to play and he has a lot more weapons around him. I do understand that. As far as the weather goes, I mean, Dan, you really want to get in a shootout with Russell Wilson? He's putting up numbers that would rival the guys in the Big 12 right now. I mean, the numbers that he's putting up, 26 touchdowns, he's got 6 picks, he's throwing 71% completions. He's separated by Allen by 20 yards. And he played a game less than him. So I don't want this to be a shootout. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, I like your first part where let him run. Let a guy that just came in off the street, off the practice squad, let him run. Shorten this game up. Do not because and the other thing is this. People are talking about you got to blitz him. You got to play man and blitz. I'm not blitzing Wilson. He creates more damage on the outside than he does when he's in the pocket. So I'm not blitzing. I'm playing 7 zone behind him.
Mario, did you not watch that game? The one loss that we had. Oh, hey, they're not the D coordinators. They're not going to go send a memo to their team and tell them what to do. Did you not watch that game where we did lose against the Arizona Cardinals? What did they do to stop us when there was no reason on God's green earth why Russell Wilson shouldn't have taken that game at the end, especially in overtime when given that extra chance when they missed the field goal to win the game in overtime? What did they do to stop the unstoppable Russell Wilson? They blitzed the out of him. They blitz they looked like they're going to blitz 12 guys, and they're only allowed 11. They had 12 guys that looked like on the line of scrimmage, and then they just disguised it. But they confused Russell Wilson. They confused the blocking scheme. And what happened? Russell Wilson rushed the throw. He got sacked, threw an interception. That's I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm telling you this, but it's freaking right there. And if you think you could drop a bunch of guys into zone coverage and go, I'll step back here and we'll keep them from getting the ball downfield, you forget about it, man. You've got to blitz the quarterback. Otherwise, you are a sitting duck, man.
I'm telling you, for the same reason I'm not blitzing Josh Allen, I'm not blitzing Russell Wilson, because he will figure out the answers to the test. What you got to do is you got to keep those on. That's the one thing that the Bills have defense. If they're one thing that they're consistent about this year, they have not let up the deep play. With Poyer and Hyde back there, they have not let up the deep play. They got to try to keep everything in front of them. They got to try to make Seattle work and inch down the field and try to get their scores and shorten up this game. You can't go play man and blitz Wilson, because the Buffalo Bills don't have a Patrick Peterson. As much as I like Trey White, he's not Patrick Peterson. So yeah. I don't think that would be a good game plan. But the Buffalo Bills, they don't mix up a lot of stuff like the Cardinals did in that game. They don't mix it. They're like, okay, we're going to play this and we're going to punch you in the mouth. They haven't been doing it though. That's the problem with the Buffalo Bills defense this year. If they line up and blitz, they're coming. They don't disguise it very well.
And so here's the deal, Mario. Like, going back right to your recent take saying that you don't want to get into a shootout with Russell Wilson, in my opinion, my friend, that is the only way that we win this game. That is the only way that we win this game. There is nothing we could do defensively to stop the Seahawks from putting up at least 30 on us. There is nothing we can do to stop the Seahawks from at least putting 30 on us. We need a damn shootout. And I've said this before on Twitter. We are seeing two quarterbacks that are tied in, I believe it's game-winning drives, right? I believe they're both sitting at 11. I've said this on Twitter, and I will stand by it. If the Buffalo Bills are down by at least a score going into the fourth and we have the last possession, the Buffalo Bills are going 7-2 all day. Same thing with the Seahawks. Say that the Seahawks are down by one score and they get the final possession, they are winning that game. That's just where it is. We need a shootout or we're not winning this game.
I don't know about that. I feel like if Josh Allen down the stretch, like there's question marks legitimately about, is he going to be the guy that goes down and wins the game? I think you guys are like bringing up some really good points, but you're only hitting half of the mark. Offensively, yes, you need to be able to air out the ball against our secondary. No question about it. Honestly, you need offensive versatility, and you get offensive versatility by having the lead in the ballgame. So if I were Buffalo, I'd be like, dude, I don't know if we can come back from behind against such a high-powered offense like Seattle, so let's get a lead early, and let's establish the fact that we can run or pass successfully and keep the Seahawks defense guessing. That's the same way that you stop Seattle's offense, is you have to keep Russell Wilson guessing. It's not about just blitzing. You remember that overtime interception Russell Wilson had? It's because they showed blitz, and they had been blitzing, and then they didn't blitz. And by not blitzing, Russell Wilson expected it. He just got blown up the previous play because DJ Dallas missed an assignment, and he was expecting blitz. He saw a ghost like Sam Darnold has at times, and he throws the ball, and it's intercepted. It could have been intercepted by 3 different players on that play because he had been expecting blitz, and it was the fact that Russell Wilson didn't know what was coming. So, Mario, you brought it up. You guys haven't been too versatile defensively. You've been kind of playing straight up football. This is the game where you have to bring out your crazy blitz packages and your crazy blitz packages where you actually drop into coverage. You have to run surprise coverages, cloud disguise, everything. That is the way that you're going to beat Seattle.
And so that's a great segue because that was my next question. Because what I wanted us to do here was actually sort of flip the switch here, right? Like what I wanted to do, and so I will go on ahead and I will start with Squabo with this one. If you were the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, right, and you needed this game, you needed to beat the Seahawks, what are you doing?
Got to jump.
How are you beating the Seahawks?
See, my key is for Seattle. Like I said, Seattle needs to jump out of the lead. Because if Seattle does that, we're able to stay versatile offensively. Our run game has struggled at times. We need to have the lead in order to try and establish that run game because otherwise it's just not going to work. Whereas if I'm Buffalo, I know Seattle needs to do that, so I'm jumping out into the lead. And I know that I've struggled at times when falling behind in games, so I need to jump out on that lead. You have to come out explosive. Your first plays of the game are scripted. Look at this defense. It's going to be new with Carlos Dunlap out there, Jamal Adams out there. It's going to be a whole new defense. You guys mentioned it, though. Jamal Adams struggles in coverage at times. He doesn't struggle against the run. He doesn't struggle when he blitzes. He struggles in coverage. So find some of those weaknesses. I'm telling you this right now. If you see Trey Flowers on the field, figure out who's on him and go there. Like, if wherever Trey Flowers is, someone underneath him, right underneath him, and hit that guy. It's going to work every single time. So jump out into the lead. And then defensively, you got to run surprise coverages, run cloud, run sky, run all sorts of different things, run disguises. Don't let Seattle know what's coming. Run stuff that's not on tape anywhere, and like stuff that you're just inputting this week. Run crazy coverages that he's never seen before, because Russell Wilson has seen a lot of football.
Very interesting. And so what you got, Norb? And so you're the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And so how you beating the Seahawks?
I don't think you want to get into a shootout. You don't want to. I think if you go into the game plan, let's say you get the ball first, the last thing I think you want to do is risk the chance of, you can go to a shootout, but if you don't execute and hit that every time, you're giving Russell Wilson the ball quickly with a lot of time, and it to me that's you're trying to get to a track meet in a race where the other guy's clearly faster than you with better track spikes and everything. So the way I look at it is, what makes me nervous about this game is Josh Allen. Josh Allen is like, he messed up. He could potentially mess us up in the same way that Kyler Murray messed us up. Now, not to say that those guys are the same, but they have similar attributes as quarterback. Josh Allen, while he's a good thrower, he's also a tough runner. He's not road runner fast like Kyler Murray, but he's quick. He's deceivingly quick for a big guy, and he's tough. And so he's the kind of guy you don't want to have him getting a lot of open lanes to run down the field. So to me, I feel like, you guys don't want to just come out and making it obvious what you're going to do. I think, I would mix things up a little bit, keep Seattle guessing as well, to where, if they are going to blitz, like I'm hoping they will, that you guys have plays to counter that, punish that with with draw plays and screens and things like that, because every defensive maneuver has a counter move, right? So if Seattle comes out with that, that's what Buffalo's got to do. They've got to have a counter move to it. But Josh Allen is that thing. Last week when we beat the 49ers, as soon as we weren't blitzing, and we were slow starting that game, but once they realized that their running game was done after they had more injuries in the backfield, that's when they turned on the blitz, and that's when they realized we've got a hobbled Garoppolo who can't throw the ball. Let's just get after him. He can't run away. He can't really throw the ball either. He just sucks right now. I mean, he sucked anyway, but he sucks really bad right now because of the injuries that he's got. But then when they brought in the backup, Nick Mullins, when he came in there, all of a sudden it's like Seattle stopped doing what they were doing. Granted, they had the lead, but to me, it still made me realize that if you give the quarterback time, there's going to be plays down the field. And so, again, that's why I feel like Seattle's best move is to attack, get the blitz going, and you guys just have to have that counter move, because if you don't, then I think it's going to be big trouble. I think Jamal Adams will get in the backfield, so you guys have to have some quick release options, because if you're looking to go down the field for like 30, 40 yards down the field, I don't think you're going to have time. So you better have an answer for that.
Interesting. All right. And so, Mario, so you have just been hired as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
And you're going up against the Buffalo Bills. How are you beating the Buffalo Bills?
Well, first of all, if I'm Pete Carroll, I'm running the damn ball with Marshawn to give Brady one less ring. That's what I'm freaking doing. That's the first thing I'm doing. Had
to go there.
Oh my! I hate that call more than you guys do, and I'm a Bills fan. So let me just say, well,
no, you don't.
Pete Carroll,
no, you don't. You could say that.
Our hate for Brady is a lot more than yours. Believe me. 20 years of getting dragged up and down the field by that guy. So what I'll say is this: if I'm Pete Carroll, I'm looking at my offensive side. I'm just on the offensive side of the ball. I'm saying, okay, I'm starting a practice squad guard, and I'm starting a rookie third rounder guard. Okay, what do I have to do to try to neutralize Ed Oliver, Quentin Jefferson, and Vernon, and all those guys up front, or whoever's in, Phillips, whoever's up front there for the Buffalo Bills? What am I going to try to do? Well, the Buffalo Bills have an aggressive but a disciplined defense. So what you have to do is you have to run a bunch of motion. The teams that have run a bunch of motion on the Bills, getting them in and out, running a little bit of misdirection, they've gotten them out of their lanes, out of their assignments, and that's it. That's what's worked against this defense for a majority of the year. Plus the fact that you're not going to have, I'm not going to have to face Matt Milano, who's one of the better coverage linebackers for the Buffalo Bills. He's not going to be in this game. I got a banged up Tremaine Edmonds, who's week to week he's trying to gut it out. I'm just going to be peppering the ball in the middle of the field, quick hitters, trying to get the ball out of Wilson's hands as fast as possible, especially with that line, especially with locking underneath. You can even hit You can even hit Metcalf underneath. Those are a lot of those things you can pepper in there. And then when that Buffalo Bills defense starts to creep up a little bit into the box, that's when you try to go deep. That's what offensively I would do if I was Pete Carroll in this offense. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm sitting there. If this is Adams is finally back. What I do is, and I want to blitz Allen. Allen, he's okay when you blitz, but the way that Allen kills you is the fact that he's able to run and extend plays. And if you're blitzing, more than likely you're playing man behind it. Those guys, you're going to end up having 20 or 30 yards chunk on you. But what I would do is this: I play man, I blitz, but I assign the chaperone of Jamal Adams to Allen. So you want to put Adams in the box, you want to have him sniff down there to try to stop the run, to try to stop those quick hitters. Fine. If you're going to blitz, if I'm Seattle, I'm going to blitz. I'm going to assign a personal chaperone of Jamal Adams to Josh Allen to follow him wherever he goes. And that'd be my game plan if I was Seattle going against the Buffalo Bills.
That all sounds pretty good. Although I think there's one bit of intel that you're a little bit off on, is that you kind of dissed our line a little bit. But to be honest, our offensive line has actually been probably the surprise bright spot in all of our entire team. Aside from, of course, Russell Wilson and the receivers, on the offensive side of the ball, the line has actually been, considering how much it's been just, ridiculed and criticized for so many years, they've actually are the reason why Russ can cook, because he can't cook unless he has time. And what has he had time that he hasn't had in the last several years? He's had a line that has given him time. So on that regard, your approach is solid. I agree with you there, but I don't think there's that feeling that they are under having to worry about the front four as much. Like I said, I think you're going to have to manufacture pressure, because I think the front four are going to be taken care of by the offensive line. So that's just the one wrinkle in your philosophy, which is very sound.
From an outsider's perspective, that's the only reason for me, is because I've always seen Wilson extend plays, get out of the pocket. If something's having to break down, he is a wizard at it. Probably next to Aaron Rodgers-esque, as far as a guy that can get outside the pocket and make plays on the run. If that happens to break down in there, he's a guy that can camouflage a lot of things that if you don't see them. But I mean, I haven't seen as many Seahawks games, this year as you have, so I'll definitely take your word for it as far as that goes.
Well, but you're right. You don't want Russell on the outside, but Squabo, go for it.
There have definitely been some deficiencies in our pass blocking as a unit, but I wouldn't necessarily put it on our offensive line. We're going to be without Chris Carson, and we're probably without Carlos Hyde as well in this game, right?
Yes.
So in this game, you're looking at Travis Homer, who he's been really good at pass blocking if he's available for Seattle. But whenever DJ Dallas is in the game, that's when you want to dial up those disguise blitzes, because his fundamentals have been weak. At the end of the Cardinals game, he was the one that led to Russell Wilson getting sacked, which led to the pick on the next play because he saw demons because of the last sack. So if there's one guy in pass protection that you really want to attack, when you see DJ Dallas on that field, go after him.
Very, very interesting. And so really going off of what Mario just said, say that I was the head coach of the Seahawks and say that I was running their offense. There's a couple of things that sort of mimic what Mario just said. Number one, attack the middle of the damn field. Attack it, because we're not going to be seeing Matt Milano in there. And we have, I would say, probably a 40% Edmonds right there. Like, that is going to be the number one thing that I would be attacking. Because one thing that the Buffalo Bills have done well is not giving up that deep pass, those those huge deep balls, like going down into it. Like, the Bills do not let those go legitimately. Just do a dink and dunk thing, attack that linebacker core, because we are absolutely struggling. And then just whatever receiver you have lined up against Levi Wallace, go on ahead and just attack the hell out of that guy, because it is going to be a long ass day for Levi Wallace by himself. He has definitely had struggles. Let's just say that, like, he struggled against Ryan Fitzpatrick during the Dolphins. I mean, this guy, like, while he is a fantastic cornerback when it comes to zone coverage, I don't think that he has the speed to be able to go up against either DK Metcalf or Lockett, one of the two. As far as the defensive side of things are concerned, I wouldn't recommend blitzing Josh Allen, to be honest with you. I really wouldn't. In fact, I would make sure that you have as many people as possible in coverage, because what Josh Allen has tended to do is he tries to zero in on Diggs as much as possible. And if you give him just pressure out without blitzing him, he's going to be looking for digs, and he's going to try to force it down his throat, especially since John Brown has been probably playing at 60 to 70% the entire game. He is our first guy, and he is the only guy that he clings on to at the end of the day. That is exactly what I would be doing, say that I was in charge of the Seahawks going into it. So now what I want to do is I sort of want to like switch the buck here, because I know that Mario has a bunch of questions for our Seahawks friends over here. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to pass it on to Mario. Sorry, bro. You're the host now. So go on ahead.
I love it when he does this to me.
That's why I brought him on. Well, actually, okay.
No, I did have a question. I did have a question. I mean, I'm thinking of it as this. And then, first of all, let me just try to make this abundantly clear to everybody here on the dais and in the chat. And the chat's lighted up. Thank you guys for being. And make sure you smash that like button for the video. I hate the word trap games, because NFL, you don't have enough games for there to be a trap game. However, being it as, I mean, I'll start with Squabble and I'll go with Norb. Being that the Seattle Seahawks are going to be playing the Rams next week, and, you know, teams always want to take care of their division games first and then their conference games. And then if they're able to win other games, that's great. You know, it's an out-of-conference game. You're traveling across the country. A lot of those X factors that certain talk shows like to talk about. What is do you have any concerns about the focus of the Seahawks going into tomorrow's game or going into Sunday's game?
Honestly, I really don't. And when I'm sure we're going to get into predictions at some point for this game.
Yeah.
I honestly think, based on how we played last week against the 49ers, I don't know how much you remember about the 2012 season, probably more than me, because you're probably brain a little more developed at that time. But back in 2012, Seattle went on a stretch where it was 3 straight games, high-scoring points, blowout victories, including a win at Buffalo, where we blew you guys out. What was it, 50-17?
That was in Toronto. That doesn't count. We don't even remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't in the country.
Earl Thomas got a pick-6 in that game. Russell Wilson, 3 rushing touchdowns in that game. And that was part of a stretch where we were at San Francisco, versus San Francisco and versus the Arizona Cardinals as well. 3 straight blowout victories.
Gotcha.
Watching Seattle last week against San Francisco, I am projecting, to a lesser degree, a stretch similar to that, where this is our most important stretch of the season. But last year, Seattle was 7-1 on the road, including 10 a.m. games and across the country games. This is almost as far across the country as Seattle can go to play a game, and Seattle has succeeded in traveling across this country for very difficult ball games against very difficult opponents. It's something about being on the road. Seattle's actually more locked in than at home over the past 2 seasons. That's one thing that I think goes in Seattle's favor. Again, this is the most important stretch of Seattle's season, and last week we just blew out the 49ers without Jamal Adams, Carlos Dunlap, Benson Mayowa, our 2 best running backs, and a starting left guard. Like, we were limited heading into that game, and we blew them out. We have learned from our mistakes, losing at the Arizona Cardinals, having multiple opportunities, not taking advantage. I think Seattle is locked in. I think Seattle wins this game going away. I'm not going to get my score prediction yet, because we're going to get into that in a little bit, I'm sure. But I think Seattle's locked in and focused on Buffalo this week, and I think it's going to show.
I think the only curveball I want to throw before I kick it over to Norb was, I think the Buffalo Bills, I think at that point they were 5-8. I think that loss took them to 5-9. So they weren't a team that you were worried about anyway, and they weren't even playing in their own stadium. They were playing in Toronto for Christ. But that's the only wrinkle I wanted to throw in there as far. But I love it. I love your points.
No, that's fair. And like I said, I don't think it's going to be 50-17. I think it's going to be a little bit closer, to barely a 2-score game.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's any trap. Well, actually, no, there could be a trap game. If it's going to be a trap game, it's one of those ones where it's so, your opponent is so overlooked. And we do have a couple of those, right? When we face the Giants later in the year, and we face the Jets, and those could be trap games. I don't know if that's possible, but I mean, they could be. But that's what would define one if you were to lose to a team like that, who you have no reason losing to. This game, definitely, you guys are in first place. You're playing really well. You guys have the same number of wins as we do. There's no looking past these guys. Not to mention, anytime it's an on-the-road game, 10 a.m. start, I think Seattle does take pride in the fact that they've sort of exercised their demons of the past, where they used to be hamstrung by 10 a.m. games. Now it's kind of I think they swung the pendulum the other way and have actually done very well, but way better than 500 in games in the 10 a.m. start time. So they've managed. I think they take pride in doing that. So I think they will definitely be prepared for this game. One thing that's worth mentioning, you always have to take into account the injury situation. And again, when I think about our coverage situation, we're still missing our number one cornerback, Shaquille Griffin. He's still out for this week. Isn't that right? Noah or Squabo? He's still not playing. He had a concussion and a hamstring issue. So we're still missing him. And granted, we got the win last week, even with his absence, but nonetheless, without him there, it's still concerning about what we can do in terms of being able to cover your receivers for an extended amount of time. So I still stick to my guns. I know you guys said it's a bad idea to blitz Josh Allen, but I don't mean like sell out and leave him open lanes to run. But I feel like now that could all change because we don't know what's going to happen with Carlos Dunlap. He could flip the whole script and suddenly come out and just be a monster on the defensive end. But if all things were how they were prior to his being here, if it was going to be like how the defense has played all season, I would feel like we are not getting there with 4 down linemen. We have to blitz. Even last week when we sacked Garoppolo 3 times, it was all because we manufactured pressure. None of that was from our front 4. So we have to keep doing that. It does, otherwise Allen is good enough quarterback, he'll pick us apart. So that's my additional feeling on that situation.
Yeah. And so very interesting. Honestly, like I was actually in the bathroom and I was grabbing myself another beer and a question just came to me, right? Inspired here, right?
Great things happen in that room.
Mario, don't give me that face, my dude. Don't give me that face.
I'm just listening.
You're just listening.
I'll tell you though, man, I don't know about you guys, but I get my best ideas for videos and songs and things like that either in the shower or on the toilet, man. I'm telling you, man, there's something about that. I don't know. Your body's more receptive. Something's coming out, so everything has the ability to come in. I don't know what it is, but it's a world of inspiration in there. But sorry, didn't mean to take away from you, man. Go ahead, Dan.
I love it.
And so honestly, I think that this might actually help out Bills fans as well, because when I look at the Seahawks and when I look at the Bills, the number one thing, especially once you get to the pessimistic Bills fans, they will always say, oh, well, the Bills barely beat anybody, right? Like they didn't blow out this team, etc. And then when I look at the Seahawks, right, like the vast majority of your wins have been by 1 score. And I'm curious to hear if like you're hearing that from your fan base as well, and whether or not that's a concern for you guys as well, that you're not putting away teams significantly when you should, right? So, I mean, starting off with Norb, like I'm like sort of curious to hear your thoughts on the way that the Seahawks win their games and whether or not that matters at all.
I believe, I don't have any stats to back this up, but I do believe the number of patients admitted into Harborview Medical Center due to heart attacks has gone up 50% since they started playing. No, everyone's aware. Everyone's aware of it's like every time a Seattle game starts going, it doesn't matter at what point we have a lead, and they're going, oh, here we go. They're going to have to do this to us again. It's been this way all season. To be honest with you, it was this way all last season. Maybe it's been this whole way for most of the Pete Carroll era, but we have been mostly a team that barely just gets ahead of their opponents for the most part. We had the exceptions, obviously, the aforementioned blowout against your Bills in Toronto, but those are exceptions, rare exceptions. For the most part, we're usually playing from behind and trying to scratch out a win in the last 2 minutes, or I don't know. I think we're better at being from behind than we are at protecting a lead, to be honest with you. Because I think our team is so not used to having a lead, they don't know what to do with it when they have it. So they're like, I don't know what to do. We're 10 points ahead. What do we do now? They're more like so used to, okay, we're 10 points down. We know what we got to do. We've been here before. I think they get in the huddle. They're like, hey, we're 10 points up. We've never been here before. What do we do now? So, that's what me and Noah or Squabo were saying in the beginning. We got to score early and step on their throats and not get confused like, should we slow down here? We're looking pretty good. We just got to go out and try to just get that lead right off the bat and do something which we have rarely done, which is get off to a lead and put teams away. It's just such foreign territory. But no, everybody is very well aware that the Seahawks have been winning these games by the narrowest of margins, and sometimes inches have defined half the losses or wins of this team this year.
No, man.
It's not good for the soul, man. Hurts. Heart's hurting, man.
It's a Squabo. So what you got, man?
Man, well, when you're talking about the Seattle Seahawks, yes, we are in far too many games than we should be. We keep them close. But part of the problem that we're facing, and that this has been a problem for Seattle, people just aren't really connecting the dots. When you're ahead in a ball game, like Seattle has been the majority of the year, we didn't trail that Cardinals game until it was over and we lost pretty much. We trailed against Minnesota for the entire game, but we still ended up winning that game. Outside of that, we've pretty much led the entire year. The problem has been outside of the first two games and then the first half against Dallas, we haven't had a pass rush because Jamal Adams hasn't been there. Well, when you're ahead in ball games, that's when your pass rush is at the advantage. They get to peel their ears back and just go after the quarterback, and that's what Seattle hasn't had to this point. So we've been building these leads, and then we haven't been able to get after the quarterback, and we're dropping our secondary back, and everything underneath is open because our defensive line hasn't been getting through to the quarterback. Well, what we saw in our last game was, even without the personnel, we were without our two best pass rushers in Jamal Adams and Benson Mayowa, and we still hadn't had Carlos Dunlap on our team. We dialed up the pressure with our scheme, and that's what's going to be different in this game, in my opinion. Seattle has Jamal Adams coming back. We have Carlos Dunlap making his debut with Seattle. That combined with our scheming of our pass rush, if Seattle gets the lead in this game, I think we're going to see the best pass rush we've seen in a while. And I think that's what it's going to take at Buffalo, because you guys are a really good football team. So I'm not as concerned because our pass rush has been injured and we hadn't traded for Dunlap to this point. But as we move forward, I think that pass rush is only getting better.
Very interesting. Mario, all right?
Well, I mean, it's funny to talk about this stuff, Dan, because you look at it's easy for fans to kind of draw comparisons for certain things. I mean, you want to talk about the Seahawks. They beat the Dolphins by 8 and the Pats by 5, and the Bills beat both of those teams by 3. So it's also like a fun thing to talk about. Like Dan and I remember when, the Raiders beat the Chiefs and then the Bills beat the Raiders. So everyone assumed, hey, if we beat the Raiders who just beat the Chiefs, it's all about the matchup. Mm-hmm. And no one knows matchups and adjustments better than number 3. This guy's an animal. You're talking about a guy who's 92 and 42 in his career, and he didn't get there because he wasn't able to make adjustments either on the fly or at halftime and during games. This guy has 41 victories. 41 of his 92 victories come when the game is between 0 and 7 points. So it's about the adjustments. I know they give you a heart attack. There's not going to be many blowouts for teams this year. Because no one had no one really had a full camp. No one had a preseason. So you're starting to see certain things that get adjusted on the fly when it happens in the season. But I don't expect teams to blow out any other teams very much anyway. But so it's the adjustments. It always comes down to the adjustments. You got a seasoned head coach. You got a seasoned quarterback coming into Buffalo. Those are two things that can overcome certain things. And they're 6-1 for a reason when in those close games is because they're able to overcome and adjust. So that's the thing that worries me, and that's where Seattle has a leg up on Buffalo in this game.
Very, very interesting. And so, yeah, honestly, me being a fan, I have always been a guy that has always said a win is a damn win, right? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite Bills podcasters on the Rumblings Network, his name is Bruce Nolan. He basically said the other day, saying that this is not college football, right? This is not college football. You cannot expect your team, especially in the NFL, to put up scores like 52-3 on a regular basis. It just doesn't happen. When you're playing an NFL team, a win is a damn win. And I know, listen, it's fun to watch your team blow out a team, but say, for example, that they win a nail biter at the end of the day, like, celebrate in the streets, baby. You just beat an NFL team. Be happy right about this. And ladies and gentlemen, let's just put it this way. I have a feeling that this game is about to be a super, super close game on Sunday. I am sticking to my guns, saying that regardless if Mario does not want to see this, I'm going to say this right now. It is going to be a damn shootout. It is going to come to whoever has the last possession of this damn game. This is exactly what is going to happen. So we should all be excited, which is a tremendous, tremendous segue to the last portion of this live stream of final score predictions and a bold prediction. And I'm gonna pass the mic over to Mario for this one.
You've been playing too much Madden, bro. That's all.
I have been. And so I'll wax that ass too. Let me know.
So because of the injuries, because of the high-powered offense that Seattle seems to have, or not seems to have, they do have. I'm very worried about the Buffalo Bills defense being able to contain Russell Wilson. I do expect it to be a high-scoring game. I don't expect it to be like a 50 to 55 shootout. I expect it to be a high-scoring game. I expect Josh Allen. Well, my bold prediction first is that Josh Allen will have more passing yards than Russell Wilson, and the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo.
Sorry.
Hey, listen. Can I give my reason after I give my score? Because here's my reason.
Don't let me interrupt. I was just choking over here.
The Buffalo Bills are going to unfortunately lose this game 31-28 because, and I'll say my comparison I always bring up is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott threw for almost 5,000 yards last year, and they went 8-8. You know why? Because they were losing by 14 or more points by the end of the game. So Dak was just throwing the ball over the place, and the defense was letting him have it underneath as they chewed clock up. So 300-yard games, yes, they're nice and they're fun. However, if you're throwing a lot of 300-yard games as a like Dak Prescott did last year, it's because you were losing those games and you had to throw to get back in it. So not necessarily having more passing yards is the reason why they're going to win. Is reason why, but I think that Russell Wilson and the offense of the Seattle Seahawks, they're going to try to run the ball. They're going to make a more conscious effort to run the ball on this weak rush defense, and Wilson won't have to throw for 300. So that's why I think Allen's going to have more passing yards than him.
Interesting. All right. Squabo, what you got?
Mario, I almost agree with your bold prediction. I like that a lot. I really think Seattle's a team, like, every time I look at Russell Wilson, 4 touchdown passes, 226 yards passing. I was like, dude, where did we even, how did we end up in the end zone? It's because of turnovers and rushing game at times. My score prediction for this game, I think Seattle wins going away, 38-27, high scoring by 11 points. And my bold prediction, Seahawks defense, 5+ sacks.
Ooh, nice.
Wow. Okay.
That is bold. I'm
really bold.
That is bold.
Norb, what you got?
All right, some similarities, some things very different. I have to go with, at the beginning of the year, this is a little shameless plug for one of my videos, but every year before the season starts, before the first game is ever played, I do a season prediction video, and everybody does, right? They all go through I think this is going to be a win, this is going to be a loss, this is going to be a win. So I didn't want to do that same old, just go through the things and just count them up. So I made a season prediction music video. So what I do is I took every game, I predicted the score, I also spelled out how I thought the game would go, and I would do it set to music. So it's a music video, so all the lyrics have been changed to tell the story of the season. Sometimes I'm lucky, sometimes I'm way off, but I just have to say at this point, I'm exactly perfect in terms of the wins to loss ratio. I said we'd be 5-1 at this point in the season. We're 5-1 right now. And for the record, I said we would lose this game 28-21 in that video. However, I have the right to amend my prediction, which I am going to do. I'm going to say it's the same score. I'm going to say it's not going to be quite the shootout. I think the things get slowed down a little bit. I think the teams try to run a little bit more in a game that it's so easy to say, oh, the weather's great, they're just going to throw 5,000 yards everywhere. I think they're going to slow it down a little bit because they don't want the other team to keep on running the track meet. It becomes 28-21 in favor of the Seahawks. And my bold prediction, and that's relatively low scoring in this day and age. My bold prediction, Squabble kind of stole my thunder, but he said 5 sacks. I was going to say that we would get 3 sacks, and they would 2 of those will come from our defensive line, which would be a season high. So that's my bold prediction because at this point,
you can't say that now. You can't go less bold than the bold prediction. Come on,
but you stole that was my initial. That was being bold until you opened your mouth and said we're gonna get 5 of them, which I think is I think that's slightly crazy. But hey, man, if we get 5 for sacks, I'd be loving it, man. I mean, you're going big time bold.
I'll just put this as a little caveat, make it even more bold. I say 5 sacks. I say 2.5 are from Dunlap.
Interesting. Okay.
See, I can go with that. I can go with that.
And so honestly, say that I was in charge of Madden ratings and say that I were to give certain skills to players on Madden, I would give Josh Allen unsackable. He just dances around the pocket like it's absolutely no one's business. So I would be surprised to see that, hence why it's bold. Hence why it's bold. But all right, so I mean, here we go. First off, need to give a giant shout out because this is actually being streamed on not only my channel but Norb's channel as well. And on my channel right now we have 214 viewers, and on Norb's channel we have 255 viewers. I really hope that we have given you some solid content this evening, and so I definitely had a good damn time. But now it comes down to me sort of being the outlier here, because I'm going to be the only person saying that the Buffalo Bills do win this game. I'm going to be the only person saying that the Buffalo Bills win this game, and I'm standing by it. I'm dying on that hill, baby. The final score of this game is going to be 38-35. It's going to be a shootout. It's happening. Listen, I know everyone doesn't think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a damn shootout. It is what it is, right? I see weaknesses in both defenses, and I see both offenses taking advantage of those weaknesses. And my bold prediction, right? We are not going to see Tyler Ass. We are going to see Tyler Bass is going to kick the game-winning field goal for, I'd say, a 52-yard game winner right over there. And the city of Buffalo will build a statue of him right in downtown, and moves will be made. And Buffalo Bills fans will shy away from those narratives that we barely beat teams, we don't beat good teams. It's going to happen. That's my bold prediction. It is.
That would be a very sad thing if your monument in your stadium is a kicker.
A kicker, baby. I know. Hey, listen, honestly, and so if Norwood, and so say that he didn't go wide, right? I'm sure that, we would have had a statue of him downtown, clearly. So, I mean, we'll see what's going on. But, yeah, so Del Mafia, what I want to do now is I just sort of want to go around the round table and just sort of let everybody know where to find everybody and what they have going on right on their channels throughout the remainder of the week. Starting off with you, Norb.
All right. Mine's pretty easy. Everything, my YouTube channel, all my social media is exactly as you see on the screen right there. NorbCam, NorbCam. I've been doing YouTube since, really, I started before, I think in 2010 was when I started my channel, but I didn't really start making videos until that 2013 Super Bowl run. And it's been just a crazy ride ever since. But so I've been doing this for a long time, OG YouTuber. But I've tried to get to, I just hit a big milestone a couple of days ago. I hit 42,000 subs. I'm trying to get to 50. Obviously, you hit mark, you want to get to that next one. And obviously 50 is a big one that I'd love to get to. So for those of you who are new to my channel, I would love it if you guys would subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, like I said, I do music videos. We do talk stuff like this, our roundtable with Noah, with the Squabble. I keep calling you Noah, but I got to get me Squabbo. It's Squabbo over there. And yeah, but I do comedy sketches. In fact, I'm going to be doing a rival sketch tomorrow for release, just to put a little prelude about this game with myself and a character you will soon discover sitting on a park bench talking about this game. So that will be premiering tomorrow. So yeah, and then I do some Madden stuff as well. I'm learning for the first time playing Madden, and I'm simulating this game tomorrow as well before we actually play it. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah,
so what do you play on, Norb? And so what do you play on? An Xbox
platform? I have an Xbox One. I'm an Xbox One. Yeah. And
so if a PS4 was about to say, like, you should totally invite me and you and I should play.
No, I shouldn't, because you would kick my ass all over the field.
Beautiful.
I've only played like 3 whole games. So I'm total noob, but I'm learning. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's a great time. When I get a little bit better though, man, we'll figure out a way we can have a little battle online, maybe even.
We got 2-on-2 squads.
That's true. Actually, Squabbo's he's the guy.
Mario.
He's got it going on.
Okay.
All right. Well.
I have the ability of Norb right now. I bet you.
Well, that's perfect. So we got Squabbo, and Dan. You guys are both pretty good. And Mario, are you saying you're pretty weak? You're not that great? Okay, well, you and I would be perfect together. So 2 good guys and 2 sucko guys. Balance everything out. It'd be a great game.
Can I just drink and bet on the game? Can I just do that?
For sure. So Squabbo, and so what you got going on your channel this week?
Yo, I'm about to drop a video about this game tomorrow. I do a show every single Saturday. You can find my YouTube channel at DJSQUABO. Same as my Instagram handle. I post videos every single week. I do a show on that channel every single week. sports analyst, and I do work for the radio station here as well. The link to that channel is in my description. As well, I work for the TV station Student Run here at Washington State University. I'm posting videos for there all the time as well, so definitely hit up my channel, hit up my Instagram at DJSQUABO. I have much smaller goals. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, so literally like 20 of you could go over and get me there. So like, show me some love.
My man.
Right around the corner from 500. I'm just getting started, but I love you guys. And just real quick, Dan and Mario, you guys have been phenomenal. I love both of you guys already. I would love to have both of you guys on my minuscule fan base channel as soon as possible. You guys are incredible, extremely intelligent, and I'm honored to be here with you.
For sure, man.
I got to add to that too, because I like you said, we're double streaming here. I figure this is a way we can all sort of promote to everybody. You're promoting to us, to your Bills fans, and I'm trying to get you guys some love here from the Seattle fans. But Dan, you and I have gotten to know each other through the Fan to Fan Network, which has been a blast this season. If not for that, you and I wouldn't even be talking probably right now. But it's great. So make sure all of my Seahawks fans out there, please give these guys some love. I've got Dan. I've got your link in the description. I don't have Mario's though. So if you've got a YouTube channel in there, definitely you should definitely shout out, because I know our fans would like to know where to find you guys. But thank you so much. This has been a blast. And Dan, your laugh cracks me up, man. I just have to say,
man. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Mario, what's good?
Yeah, you can find you can find us on YouTube at #sports, and also on Sportscaster at #sports. We're both on Instagram and Twitter at #sports. We're going to be doing our post game, and we do our roundtable with Dan and a couple other Bills YouTubers as well throughout the week. So, and we're also going to have our hype videos for the next game. Make sure you tune in for that. The other thing that I just wanted to mention, as far as our channel is concerned, is for our channel members. What we're doing is Paul and I decided to donate 100% of all channel memberships to the Punt Foundation, which is Brian Moorman's foundation for kids with pediatric cancer. Oh. So make sure that you go over there. If you want to become one of the #heroes, you get behind the scenes, blooper reels, film breakdown, salary cap. You get all that fun stuff. Plus, if you're one of the Hall of Famers, we have a live Zoom call with all of our Hall of Famers, just kind of talking Bills football. So make sure that you go and hit the subscribe button. It's down in, if you're in Dan's channel, it's down in the description down there for #sports. So I had so much fun on that. This was a great time with Noah and Norb. You guys, we're gonna have to hook up again. You know, when Seattle plays Buffalo in the Super Bowl, we're gonna have to do this again. So
we're gonna have to make it happen. Yeah. And so, hey, Dumb Mafia, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. As far as my channel is concerned, I am going to be putting the video version of my podcast out on the channel tomorrow. I actually started the podcast with former safety of the Buffalo Bills, Aaron Williams, about 2 or 3 months ago. We drop our audio version on Wednesday, and then we drop our video on my channel on Saturday. As well, I am very vastly approaching 10,000 subscribers, an awesome milestone. I'm super excited. And to celebrate that, I am giving away either a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. In order to enter this contest, what you need to do is you need to be a subscriber to my channel, like this video, and then screenshot it and send it to my Instagram at Real Dan Mitchell to enter the contest. And get this. If you subscribe to these 3 gentlemen right here and you send me proof of that, then you get 3 extra entries as well. So what you do is go on ahead, subscribe to all 3 of them, and I will put your name in 4 damn times. And you could have an opportunity of winning that new next-gen game console, baby. So make it happen.
Am I eligible? Am I?
Sure, Squabo. Sure, man.
Squabo's like, I got 1,000 subs and a PS5.
I mean, let's make it happen, dude. You know what I mean? All right. And hey, Dumb Mafia, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition of Fan v Fan. And above all else, let's go Buffalo.
Go Hawks, baby.
Oh, yeah. You got it in. Nice, guy.